Hey there, good people. It's your boy Leaky14, and we are back today with a video. And I'm going to give you 3 reasons why you should read Jujustu Kaisen by Gege Akutami. And let's jump right into it. Alright, so Jujustu Kaisen is an ongoing manga series by Gege Akutami. We are currently at chapter 206 of Jujustu Kaisen, and I am going to give you 3 reasons why you should check out this awesome, spectacular fighting series in Shonen Jump. And reason number 1 why you should tune into Jujustu Kaisen is the plot. Yes, the plot and the characters are one reason why you should flock to this story. I mean, it is an ongoing Shonen Jump, and it comes out weekly, and the plot is, without giving too much away, it is about a boy who becomes a vessel for a cursed spirit. And in a world where cursed spirits exist and have existed for a long time, there is a school that exists in Japan in order to teach young and gifted people to be sorcerers. So at this academy, they learn to exercise curses, because that is the only way to get rid of these cursed spirits, is using jujutsu. And that's what these students go to this school to learn. And there are bloodlines, there are cursed spirits that go back hundreds of years, thousands of years. And then we follow these young characters. There's Yuji, there's Megumi, and there's Nobara. They're like the 3 protagonists of the story. But there's also their wise and powerful sensei Gojo, who's everybody's, gray-haired sensei, Kakashi type. He's the man, one of the coolest in the series, of course. But then he's the one who teaches these 3 protagonists and teaches them the way of the Jujutsu world. And you follow cursed spirits who have personalities and motives and friends, and there are good sorcerers, there are bad sorcerers, there are mixed feelings between personnel within the Jujutsu school itself. Bloodlines and families have feuds. I mean, there is a lot going on in this world, and you feel it. You don't feel like just the main character and the main cast are pushing the story. Like, there are people outside of our immediate circle that are making decisions that affect the story, and it is beautiful. For instance, you can go 3 or 4 chapters without having the main characters in the story, because there are that many protagonists and people to follow. And the plot is just getting thicker and thicker, and it is at that point where you need to hop on this story before it's too late. So Jujustu Kaisen, there's like 206 chapters. Hop on the train just because of the plot and the characters. Reason number 2 you should tune into Jujustu Kaisen is the power system. I mean, so we have these sorcerers, they're learning jujutsu, so a lot of this stuff is hand to hand. But there are cursed techniques, they're called innate cursed techniques, which are people are born naturally with them, and that's what they use to fight. And so far in the story, cursed techniques aren't super overly complicated, but they can get pretty in-depth, but they do have limitations. But for instance, there's our character named Hagari, who has this OP ability, but it does have limitations. It has like time limitations, or like specific, super specific arrangements it needs to hit. But then there's other characters that might not have any cursed energy, was what they use. No cursed energy at all, so they can use things like cursed tools, which are tools and weapons that are imbued with cursed energy already, which are more powerful than regular tools. But then people who use cursed techniques, they can use cursed techniques, they can use domains, and domain expansions are some of the coolest things in the whole series. Not everybody can do them, but when they can do them, they're special. They're sort of like the Bankais of the series, but not everyone has it, and they're really tough, but when you get them, it's like a sure hit effect, and it's really cool. Cursed spirits also exist, and cursed spirits can have techniques themselves, or they can just be big old monsters. But cursed spirits have some of the most complicated techniques we've seen in the series, and sometimes techniques affect others. Sometimes techniques can be like summoning. They can be, they range in all types of things, shadow-based techniques, and they're really cool. Recently we've gotten, no spoilers, just know cursed techniques. They range in anything you could really think of, but Gege does a great job of individualizing everybody, making people unique. And even the most OP abilities have their limitations, besides one or two characters, but that is for a specific reason. Gojo. But yes, reason number 2 you need to read Jujustu Kaisen is because of the power system. The third reason you need to read Jujustu Kaisen is because of the fight choreography. Yes, the fights themselves. There are many, many fights in this story. It is a Shonen Jump magazine ongoing story for a reason. There are always fights. And I would say majority of the fights have reasons to happen. They hold some weight. They're not just fighting to fighting, but it does happen sometimes. But I love the action, I love the fighting, and it matters where you're fighting, who you're fighting, what is around you, your environment, the capabilities of people. And this is the type of story where it's a 2-on-1. If we're not just gonna, all right, you stay back and let me handle it. It's like, no, no, we need him dead, so we are going to fight him 2-on-1. We're gonna do a 5-on-1. We are going to trap this man and make the worst circumstances possible so we can fight him. Like things like that. Planning. It gets very specific. Like people do not mess around when it comes to fighting in this story. And the whole art of it is, you might not know this person's technique. So who is gonna bait them to use their technique first? Who's gonna expand their domain first? Can you use a domain? Bro. And a lot of this thought process is spoken to us through these characters, which is one of the other great things about this series. And that is a very Hunter aspect, if I can compare it to another story. The power system and the fighting and thinking of characters is very Hunter-like, but it's very unique. Jujustu Kaisen is very unique. One of the most unique stories I've ever read. The fighting keeps it very ground level because people be throwing fists and kicks, swinging swords and weapons, but at the same time they be using cursed techniques, which are sometimes incomprehensible and just the most ridiculous things you can ever see. And not to mention the paneling and layout of these fights. I recently spoke about this a recent fight going on, Chozo versus Kenjaku, and somebody's like arm reaches to a corner of a panel and you see them grab somebody, and the way your eyes just naturally move throughout the page are great. Gege is a top tier artist in Shonen Jump right now when it comes to fights. Yes, I love everything about the fights in JJK, especially the choreography. So the plot and the characters, the power system, and the fights and the choreography are 3 phenomenal reasons that you need to go check out JJK today. It is ongoing. There's not that many chapters. You can catch up, I promise you, and it's super addicting. It has one of the best arcs I've ever read in Shonen Jump. Get to that Shibuya arc. If you know, you know. But JJK, it's one of my favorite ongoing series right now. You should check it out. If you already read it, who is your favorite character? What's been your favorite arc so far? Drop a comment below, let me know. If you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you. Go ahead and drop a like. Make sure you are subscribed. It's your boy, Leaky14, signing out. Peace. Have a great day.